My dear students, today we will start a new chapter, that is chapter number 7, Protecting Plants and Animals. In this chapter, we are going to learn the interdependence between plants and animals, and we will also learn human beings depend on animals and plants. So first of all, we have to know what is the meaning of interdependence. So, the way all living things depend on each other is known as the interdependence. No plant or animal lives alone. Each depends in some way upon other plants or on animals for energy in order to live, grow, and to reproduce. Now look at the picture. So, as we all know, cow exhale carbon dioxide and trees, they use the carbon dioxide to produce their food with the help of chlorophyll and sunlight. Isn't we already know that process is known as photosynthesis? And what happens next? The animals, they also eat the plants, and trees also give us oxygen. So what is happening? The plants and the animals, they both are dependable on each other, and this relationship is known as interdependence. Next we will learn that who are the producers. Producers means they can produce or they can make their own food. So they use energy from the sunlight to turn raw materials into food by the process of photosynthesis. So can you guess who are the producers? Yes, they are plants. Next we will learn about the consumers. So the meaning of consumer is the organisms who eat something or use something that is produced by another organism because of they cannot make their own food. Remember this one point, that consumers cannot make their own food. So they feed directly or indirectly on producers for food and energy. Consumers need to eat their food to get energy. So all the animals, they are consumers, like the bee, the snake, or squirrel, owl, everyone. So we can classify animals on the basis of their food habit, or we can say we can classify animals by what they eat. Okay, so there are four types of consumers. Okay, or four types of animals are there. I have mentioned they are consumers because none of them can produce their own food. And we will find out that they are directly or indirectly dependable on the producers. Next is herbivore. Animals that eat only plants are known as herbivores. For example, cow, sheep, goat, elephant, and deer. They are also known as primary consumers. I will tell you about primary consumers when I will explain the food chain. Next is carnivore. So the flesh-eating animals are known as the carnivores. For example, lion, tiger, etc. And some birds are also carnivores like eagle or the vulture. Next is the omnivore. So the animals that eat both plants and animal flesh are known as omnivorous animals. So the meaning of omni is all. Okay, that is why they eat both the plants as well as the animals. And the example of omnivores are human beings, crow, even catfish and ant. They are also the omnivorous animals. Next is decomposers. Decomposers feed on dead plants and animals. They decay, that means they break down the dead matter and release minerals in the environment which is absorbed by the plants. So the example of decomposers are bacteria and fungi. I have already mentioned that plants are the producers. So who are the primary consumers? Primary consumers are the herbivore. Do you know why? Because of they only eat the producers. That means they only eat plants. So the herbivores, they are the primary consumers. Now, who are the secondary consumers? Remember, secondary consumers will eat only the primary consumers for energy. That means the animals who eat herbivores, they are known as the secondary consumers. Now tell me, who eat the herbivores? Yes, they are the carnivores. They are also known as meat eaters. They eat the primary consumers or the vegetarians. That is why they are known as the secondary consumers. Look at here. The process of eating one organism by the other and getting eaten by another organism is called the food chain. Look at here. So, grass is the producer. Of course, it can produce its own food. And grasshopper eats the grass. That means the grasshopper is the primary consumer. Then the frog eats the grasshopper. That means the frog is the secondary consumer. And there are also tertiary consumer and the final consumers. So the food chain shows us how nutrient and energy is passed from one organism to another. Do you remember the decomposers? They eat the dead and decaying parts of all the other consumers. And plant also absorb the nutrients and the minerals that is produced by the decomposers. I hope now it is clear to you that plants and animals are dependable on each other. Let us find out that how animals are dependable on plants. Human beings also depend on plants because plants provide us food like vegetable, fruits, cereals and also oil and nuts. They also provide us many medicines like aloe vera, tulsi, neem, etc. We also get cotton, paper, rubber, timber, etc. from the plants. Plants provide us oxygen. Without oxygen, we cannot live and also take in carbon dioxide. Plants also depend on animals. Let us find out. Animals release carbon dioxide during the process of breathing. We all know that. Plants use this carbon dioxide for making their own food by the photosynthesis process. Animals also help in dispersal of seeds. Insects like butterfly, bees help flowers in pollination. That means they help to transfer the pollen grains from one flower to another. Plants also need animals for keeping a balance in the nature. For example, if human beings kill all tigers, no tiger will be left in the forest. The number of deers will increase in the absence of their predator. So what will be the result? The deers will eat all the plants and no plants will be left and they will starve eventually. A change in the population of any animals in the food chain will disturb the overall balance in the nature. That means we need all the organisms. Like the tigers, they are the deadliest animal. But still we conserve them or we protect them in the wildlife sanctuary and in national park because they are the part of the nature. So we must protect them in order to maintain the balance. So read these topics mentioned in the video carefully. Now it is time for our weekend EVS activity. In this activity, materials required: clay or play sand, half cup of water, baking soda, vinegar, liquid detergent, and we can also add some food color. If you don't have clay or food color, you can skip the step. Can you guess what we are making? Yes, we are making an active volcano. You have heard about the volcano and about volcanic eruption, so you can also make your own volcano by using these materials. But if you don't have clay, don't worry. Just pour those materials one by one as shown in the video. You will still be able to see the eruption, so don't worry. First of all, place the glass in the middle, and if you have clay, give it the shape of volcano like this. Then pour some water into the glass. After that, add some liquid soap into the water. Now mix it properly with the help of a spoon. Add the baking soda into it. You can add 1 to 2 teaspoons of baking soda. Again, mix it properly. If you have food color, then you can add it. Again, mix it properly. Last but not the least, add the vinegar into it and observe the result. Now you have your own volcano. Now write down your observation. Is this a natural disaster? Yes or no? What are the effects of volcanic eruption? You can write any 3 points. And you can click the picture or you can make a video and send it to me. Do not send the video or picture in the group. Send it to me only. If you are making the video, you can say the answer in the video and send it to me. And if you are sending me a picture, then write it down on a paper and send it to me. I hope you understand. Thank you, students.